morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Thao Nguyen from Department of Chemical and Biological Engineering. Today, I'm gonna present about synthesis and characterization of silicon-germanium alloy nanoparticles. These particles have many potential applications in bioimaging, thermoelectric, light-emitting diodes, and photovoltaics. For bioimaging, we need to make the particles luminescent. On the right-hand side, there is a picture of a mice injected with the fluorescent silicon nanoparticles. Those particles will target the tumor. We want to do the same thing with silicon germanium particles. To make sure that the particles that we produce are the silicon germanium alloys, we do some characterization such as the FTIR, DLS, TEM, which I will go over in a slide later. We also having to formulate new etching protocol to obtain the luminescence and demonstrate particles utility in applications. But in this summer, we will focus on the synthesis and characterization only. We use the CO2 laser pyrolysis to produce the particles. This is the schematic of carry on in our lab. The silent gas, German gas, hydrogen, and helium are all added to the reaction chamber where a laser beam shot through. Silent gas is decomposed to silicon particles, and German gas is decomposed to germanium particles. All those particles will diffuse with each other to produce a bigger silicon germanium alloy nanoparticles. This is a production system that we have in our lab in furnace. You can see in the middle of the reaction chamber there is a small flame. That flame indicates that the reaction is occurring. If there is no flame, that means there is no reaction occurs and no particles produced at all. There are many ways to produce the particles. With these methods that we're using, we obtain the highest production rate ever, 3.02 grams per hour. Okay, so these are the techniques that we use for characterization. The FTIR is for studying the oxidation characteristic. DLS is for measuring the hydrodynamic size. SID is for studying the crystallographic structure. TEM and SEM is for studying about the surface texture. EDS is for studying about the composition. And TOF, SIMS is for examining the mass of the particles. We did everything except the TOF, except the last one, and we will do it sooner. So this is a sample of the silicon germanium particles, and we pick a random particle in this area to analyze, to do the EDS characterization. The graph shows that both germanium and silicon are present in the particle, in that particular particles. Also, we can get the atomic fraction and weight fraction from doing the EDS characterization. For studying about the oxidation, we do the FTIR characterization. These peaks correspond to the silicon hydrogen bonds, and these peaks correspond to the silicon oxygen bond. As soon as the particles are exposed to the air, the hydrogen, the silicon hydrogen bond will convert to the silicon oxygen bond. And these data were taken at different times. The oxidation ratio is calculated by dividing the area under the Si oxygen curve by the area under the Si hydrogen curve. We expect the oxidation ratio increase with time. This trend is shown here. The oxidation ratio increased from 1.046 to 1.097 from 0 minutes to 180 minutes. Also, the oxidation ratio increased slowly, indicates that the process is quite stable. For measuring the hydrodynamic diameters, we do the DLS characterization. The diameter increases with increases of germanium atomic fraction, and this strength is consistent with what we found in during the TEM experiment. Okay, so these curves are arranged in the order of increasing of atomic fraction of germanium from the bottom to the top. We can see here the diffraction peaks slightly shift from position for silicon particles to position for germanium particles as atomic fraction of germanium increases. Okay. All these particles came from a same sample. They all have the nice spherical shape. It is easily to be seen that there is a defect here. That defect could be caused by the high concentration of germanium. These particles came from another sample. Some of the particles have the hexagonal shape, while others have the spherical shape. The defect that we saw in the previous particles is not shown here, but properly they are here. This is there. So right now we are at the beginning of our project. We're doing the characterization to study about the properties of silicon germanium nanoparticles. And after have fully knowledge about those particles, we will move on to the bioimaging application in drug delivery. Basically, if the drug is attached with the fluorescence silicon germanium nanoparticles, we can track the drug to see if the drug arrives at the destination or not. I would like to thank Ms. Shanna Owens and Dr. Folarin Erobakbo, my mentors, and also the CSTEP staff and my lab partners. Any question?
Oh, in the slide about the XRD spectroscopy, the one about that you said that the peaks were shifting to the right.
Okay.
What does it actually mean? Is it related to the composition of germanium in the element?
Okay, so you can see here the atomic fraction of germanium increases from the bottom to the top. So if I have to draw a curve for germanium particles, which has a concentration like 100%, I will draw that curve in the on the top, and I will draw the curve for the silicon particle on the bottom. And we have the trend, the curve has a tendency of shifting to the right as the atomic fraction of G increases. So that's what I mean. So it will like the curve will shift from this corner to this corner as the position, as the atomic fraction of Ge increases. So that's what I mean when I say that the peak shifts from the position for silicon particles to the position for germanium particles.
Okay. Can you go back to your FTIR results?
This one or what? This one.
So you have you did the spectroscopy of the chemical reaction actually, the flame actually happening in the reaction chamber to get those results?
No, the flame in the reaction chamber just indicate that the reaction occurred. So after we got the particles, after we produce the particle, we will get the particles to do the FTIR characterization.
How do you get the data for this FTIR characterization? Do you put it in a spectrometer?
We have the OPUS machine, and we get the particles. As soon as we expose the particles to the air, and we put it like there's a hole in the machine, and you just put it in there, and you the machine will calculate, will give you all these data.
So each one of these curves represents a different time, how long it's been inside the machine.
Right.
Okay. And I see you have wave number down there. That represents a certain kind of bond.
The wave number length. So you can see that the silicon hydrogen bond has the wavelength from in this range.
Okay.
So you can check this peak is about like 900. So that should be the silicon hydrogen bonds.
Okay. Okay, that's it.
Any more questions? Method?
You said these silicon germanium alloys can be used for engine and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
What are they currently used?
Why are they currently used? We haven't tried in the human bodies or anything yet. Like right now, we still studying the characteristics, the property of those particles, so that later we can apply it in real life. Any more questions? No. All right. So thank you for listening.
Rachel, pass along your feedback form.
Gotta wait like 3 or 4 hours. What? 5. 5 out of 17.
Does anybody have my feedback?
That's,
Push it up there. You get it at the end.
so you're eager to be criticized.
What should you do? I think
Where's the pink tie? What are you talking about? You gotta match them. They're supposed to be orange.